Welcome in, fight fans, one more time. That is the PFL Smart Cage, and beside it, Sean O'Connell, Kenny Florian, getting you ready for 6 title fights and the return of Claressa Shields. Welcome to the 2021 PFL World Championship digital preview show. Kenny Florian, you have not yet been part of a PFL Championship fight.
I'm very excited. Been along for this journey. 4 fights in 6 months. This is a life-changing opportunity for these guys. You've been in this situation. What are these guys feeling right now?
Well, look, it's a huge opportunity, not only because of those $1 million prizes, but for some of these fighters, it's their last chance to earn a world title. And for some, like a Martin Hamlet, for example, it's an opportunity to really announce yourself on the world stage as one of the best in the sport. Yes, the $1 million is very nice, but it's oftentimes about putting some respect next to your name in the sport of mixed martial arts. And speaking of Martin Hamlet, this is our ESPN Plus fight card. We've got 6 world title fights, all right? And we've got a couple of showcase bouts leading up to those. You will see Antonio Carlos Jr. and Martin Hamlet in the feature ESPN Plus Championship bout. It's Brazil versus Norway. It's a favorite in Antonio Carlos Jr., who's much more experienced. And by the way, the week Rajabov, Haush Manfio, that's an incredible lightweight title fight as well. Look at the odds next to Omari Akhmedov making his PFL debut. He's a -720 favorite, Kenny. Julia Budd, Don Madge also making their PFL debuts. Don Madge, another heavy favorite. We'll go from ESPN Plus to ESPN2, and this will be simulcast on ESPN Plus for those of you who stay in the streaming world. Title fight on title fight upon title fight, and tucked in there is the GOAT herself, Claressa Shields, coming back into the Smart Cage. Look at the odds next to Kayla Harrison's name. That is not a typo, Kenny Florian.
Unbelievable.
Let's talk about that main event where Kayla Harrison is a -6,500 favorite, looking for her 2nd straight PFL World Championship, and Taylor Gardado has designs on one of the biggest upsets in the history of women's mixed martial arts.
Yeah, that's right. You know, for Kayla Harrison, the 2-time Olympic gold medalist in judo, she has been so dominant. She's had all the pressure on her shoulders, and she has delivered time and time again, going out there and doing what she does best. She goes in there. She's been setting up her takedowns with her strikes that seems much improved this season, but it's all about her takedown game. Once she gets on top of you, you are in big trouble, whether it's, her punches raining down on you or whether it's her setting up one of her patented submissions. She has just been extremely dominant. Doesn't matter what style, what you want to do, Kayla Harrison goes out there and delivers.
And her opponent, Taylor Gardado, thinks that she might be the first woman who can match Kayla in physical strength.
Well, she's been the underdog here since she started, and she has also delivered and has upset time and time again. And she has taken a very similar approach to Kayla Harrison. She's been very smart in her approach. She's been setting up her takedowns. She gets to the clinch, she takes you down, and she knows how to control you and win rounds.
The most dominant women's mixed martial artist on the planet inside the Smart Cage, looking for a 2nd straight title, and her opponent looking for a massive upset. That's the main event. But one that's been called the people's main event is a title rematch from season 1. The same night that I won my belt, these 2 guys squared off. Ray Cooper III, Magomed Karamov, jumping into the Smart Cage against one another to really determine who the best welterweight in the PFL is.
Well, this fight is just insane. Magomed Karamov, a guy who really can do it all. And these guys have faced off, as you mentioned, back in 2018. A lot has changed since then. Of course, Cooper, the 2019 champion. And, back then when we first saw Ray Cooper, he was very raw. He came from that wrestling background, but he was not shy when it came to throwing down. There he is getting submitted in 2018 against the Russian Magomed Karamov. But since then, he's become smarter. He's become a better striker. He's been setting up his striking a lot more. He's shown a lot more strategy and a lot more intelligence, and we have seen the results. Ray Cooper has been able to retain that aggression, but he's been smarter, and he's still getting the finishes. And there is Magomed Karamov, a guy who can do it all. This guy comes from a wrestling background as well, but you look at his striking, he reminds me of Fedor Emelianenko in his prime, another great Russian fighter. He dealt with a knee injury. He actually got his knee injured in his first fight this season at PFL. There it is right there, ow! And then was able to recover. You see him basically fighting on one leg, Sean. We were just blown away by that performance. He was able to get the submission win in the first round in order to advance in the tournament. Just ridiculous, the amount of mental fortitude that he was able to show. There's another one of, another example of his submission skills. Just an amazing fighter. This should be an insane fight.
I cannot wait to see that rematch. And obviously, Ray Cooper has been talking about this and thinking about this every day since that loss in 2018. He said literally every single day. So Maga and Ray Cooper will square off for the second time in a championship bout. They're a lot further into their mixed martial arts careers than Claressa Shields is.
Right.
She will jump in for only the second professional bout of her mixed martial arts career as she makes the transition from boxing. What are we looking for from Claressa Shields?
I think the thing that really stands out for me in her debut in the PFL was the fact that champions always find a way to get it done. They find a way to win. She was in some of the worst positions you can find yourself in a mixed martial arts fight, especially given the fact that she does not come from a grappling background. She is, one of the best female boxers to ever do it. And she was on her back in this fight. And she found a way. She stayed composed. She was able to find a way to escape. And when she had her opportunity, she capitalized, getting the win and getting it done. It was exactly what she needed to do. She could not just win that third round. She had to get a finish, and she was able to do that. Just amazing.
Excited to see her back inside the Smart Cage testing out new skills. They are literally new skills for Claressa Shields. You're going to want to be there for that. So we talked about 2 title fights at the top and Claressa Shields. There's still 4 more title fights that we have to get to for a total of 6 on the evening. Kenny, give me one thing to look for in this heavyweight championship between Bruno Capoloza and Ante Delia.
Well, Sean, we have another rematch. I'm really curious to see if Ante Delia decides to go out there and trade with Capoloza in the pocket. Probably not a good thing. That's how he lost his first round matchup. I expect him to take more of a grappling approach and to test the grappling skills of Capoloza.
All right, from the big boys, we'll go down to 145, a featherweight bout that very exciting in its own right. Chris Wade has been a different animal at 145 pounds, but he takes on the killer, Movlid Khaybulaev.
Yeah, for this fight, Chris Wade had the perfect matchup leading into this championship fight against Bubba Jenkins, an other wrestler. And boy, did he answer the call on that one. Was able to counter Bubba Jenkins repeatedly, showed that he is a much improved wrestler, and he's going to need that against Movlid Khaybulaev.
And then my favorite weight class, the one that I won a championship in, light heavyweight, the 205-pound matchup, is a guy who's very experienced in shoe-face Antonio Carlos Jr. against someone who's only in his 12th professional mixed martial arts fight, Martin Hamlet out of Norway.
Well, that could be the difference here. Hamlet doesn't have a whole lot of experience, but boy, is he gifted. Physically just a powerhouse at 205 pounds. Antonio Carlos Jr., not as big, but does have a lot of experience. Really curious to see if that one hits the mat. Hamlet might have to work on his striking here for this one against Shoeface.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that's 2 grapplers going at it. I think that ends up being a striking battle, which I never mind. Okay. Yeah. And then at lightweight, a little something about fighting at a high level at 155 pounds. This one promises to be very exciting as well. We've got Loic Rajabov, second straight bid for a PFL championship. He was the runner-up in 2019. And, of course, Haush Manfio, a guy who really burst onto the scene and is coming off some of the biggest wins of his career to get here.
Yeah, that's right. For me, you got to watch for the fast start from Rajabov. Now, what's interesting is Manfio actually is kind of a slow starter. Takes a little while to heat up a little bit. So curious to see if Manfio is able to make those adjustments against Rajabov, who's very explosive early on in a fight.
Tajikistan, Brazil. That gets the championship card started. The whole night starts at 4:30 on ESPN+. We'll move from there to ESPN2 and simulcast on ESPN+. Claressa Shields is back. Kayla Harrison is back. We've got Maga versus Ray. 6 title fights, 6 $1 million prizes, and some showcase bouts to get you excited about the talent that's coming. Also, 4 o'clock, if you're a bettor, if you like to make a little recreational wager on these fights, 4 p.m., we've got our preview show for the folks who maybe want to throw a little skin in the game. We will see you then. Sean O'Connell, Kenny Florian will have Randy Couture with us as well. It is the 2021 Season 3 PFL Championship, and it's coming your way on Wednesday, October 27th. Be there.